right. We should be live.
Alrighty.
Welcome, everybody. We're just taking 1 or 2 minutes to let everybody get joined properly and settled in before we get started. So hang tight and we will get started in just 1 or 2 minutes. Welcome, everybody.
Oh yeah, sorry, talked over you there. But while we're waiting, if you want to open up the chat on the bottom toolbar and let us know where you're joining us from and what kind of work you oversee, we'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. We've got everyone joining really fast. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who just joined, we are just waiting 1 or 2 minutes to let everybody get joined properly before we get started. And like Cara mentioned, if you want to chat with us using the chat tool, please do. It's really fun for us to get to know you all a bit better before we get started. You can let us know where you're joining us from and what kind of work you oversee.
Looks like a few people are chatting in. We have a salon in St. Louis, Missouri, carnival owner in Long Island, and diagnostics in Williamsville. Thank you for joining us today. We have seen a lot of different account setups, and we're excited to give you a little preview of what When I Work can do. Police department in Nevada, we definitely schedule for a lot of police departments and fire departments.
Definitely. Cara and I have been working with When I Work for quite some time, and we have seen so many different setups, so many different companies that come in and chat to us, and that we help, onboard and get all set up. So we are able to schedule for so many different types of companies. So welcome, everyone. Great. So many people are joining. I don't want to wait too long, so I want to make the most of our time, but I want to make sure everyone is settled before we get started. Thanks for everyone that chatted with us. Again, it's really great for us to get to know you all a bit better before we get started. It helps us kind of inform where we take the questions and how and what kind of setups we talk about. So thanks for chatting with us. Looks like we can probably go ahead and get started. So I just want to say welcome one last time to everybody to the live Q&A. We're so happy to have you all join, and we're really excited to help you get started with When I Work. So during the next 30-ish minutes, we're going to be answering your When I Work questions. We're going to show you some ways that you can save time scheduling, cut down on overtime costs, and cut down the time it takes you to run your payroll. But the content of this session is going to be directed by the questions that you ask. So make sure to ask any questions that you have. The questions are going to be flowing in, and we're going to get to as many as we can, if not all. But if your question doesn't get answered, or you come up with a new question and you want some further help and guidance, you can always chat with us after. So listen for more information on how to get in contact with us. We'll go over that during the webinar and also at the end with our resource packet that we have for you all. If you're totally new to When I Work and just checking out your account and the different plans that we have, we're going to outline those plans and how you can go about upgrading your account at the end if you really liked the tools that we're going to show you today. And if you're joining us from your existing When I Work account and you're already kind of going with your plan and really liking it, but just have a couple of questions, we welcome you as well, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. So we can go ahead and get started. The live Q&A works with the Q&A button. So we're going to turn off the chat that we've been using just to get to know you all a bit better, just to take up that time. And we're going to be using that Q&A button. So you can pop your questions in there now or at any time during the webinar. Cara is going to be going through those questions and kind of grabbing as many as we can. We might rearrange some questions depending on where we are within the product, but we will try to get to everyone's questions. So as I share my screen, you can put your questions in that Q&A. I'm going to be sharing my screen and giving you a little bit of a demo and a walkthrough of the answers to your questions on my actual When I Work account, just so you get a better visual of what I'm talking about. So as I swap my screen over, feel free to just pop your questions in that Q&A. All right, Cara, can you see my When I Work screen?
Yep, I sure can.
Awesome. So I am logged in right now as the admin on my account, or just essentially the person that started and opened the account. This is your main scheduling page, kind of the place where you'll spend most of your time in When I Work creating the schedule. The top menu bar is where you can navigate to all of our different platforms, including attendance and our work chat tool. The menu bar extended over to this right-hand side is going to be where you can add in any information into your account, and then including your settings. This is where you can change any settings within your When I Work account. When your employees log in, if they do log in on a computer like I am now, it's just interesting, kind of notable to say that your employees will see a screen or a setup that's pretty similar to what you're seeing right now. They won't have access to seeing information that they shouldn't, changing any settings or scheduling anyone, but they will see a setup that looks pretty similar to this, so you can kind of get an idea of what your employees might be seeing as well. But with that, we can go ahead and get started with questions.
Sounds good. We got some questions rolling in. This is a great one that I always like to start with. Andy is asking, how can I create shifts that employees can pick up themselves?
Awesome question. And this will bring in the OpenShift tool. And I think it's a really cool tool. I really enjoy talking about it with When I Work. So just a quick background for those of you who are new to scheduling in When I Work. Most of the time, or generally, not most of the time, but sometimes, you will be scheduling out shifts directly to your employees. So you can see your employees down this left-hand side, and then all of the days of the week at the top. Each cell corresponds with a specific day and a specific employee. So what you can do is you can set shifts directly for your employees, just like that, just by clicking into the cell and selecting a shift, or clicking into the cell and creating a custom shift. This will directly schedule out those shifts to those specific employees for them to see on their end and check and view on their end. If you don't want to set your employees up with shifts specifically for them, you can also use the OpenShift tool. So the OpenShift tool will allow you to build out all of the coverage or any shifts that you need covered at your workplace. And then when you publish them out, your employees will be able to grab those shifts first come, first serve based on their qualifications, like the position tagged to the account, or the other tags or other qualifications associated with that shift. So right here, you can see that I have 3 open shifts in this green section up here. To add new shifts into the open shift section, you can just select one of your pre-made templates or just create a new custom open shift. If you don't want your employees to be grabbing those open shifts first come, first serve, again, that is based on their qualifications for positions and subtags. If you don't want them to just grab those shifts first come, first serve based on when they're available, you can turn on our pickup approval or shift bidding system, or we even call it shift request sometimes. So when you turn that on for a new open shift, your employees will be able to sign up for the shift, or I like to think of it as raising their hand, saying, I would like to take that shift, I'm available, and I could pick up that shift. Then any manager or admin in the system will be able to go into their shift requests and see all of the employees that have requested to take a particular open shift. And then they can actually give it to one of those users that they want to actually take that shift at the end of the day. So this kind of marries the idea of using the open shift, but having a little bit more control over your schedule and who takes those shifts. So you always be sure that the right users are picking up the right shifts at the end of the day. So those are your two options with OpenShifts, but definitely check it out if you are interested and maybe dabbling with the idea of more of a flexible self-scheduling type workplace. It's really cool and employees tend to really enjoy it.
Awesome. Yeah. Just like going off of that, Michael mentions that he wants to schedule staff based on if they have a car or if their car they will carpool. And I think tags would be a great option for doing that within the OpenShift. This is another layer of qualification that you can add to the shift to make sure, you know, people who have a car are picking up those shifts, people who need to carpool are picking up those shifts. And I think that would work really well for that.
That's a great point. Tags are really useful for all sorts of things like that. And where you can create those is just under this shopfront icon and into your tag tool. That's where you can add those tags that will show up when you go to edit your shift.
Thanks, Marie. So our next question is from Tyler. Is it possible to have multiple schedules for multiple purposes? Example, works in healthcare, and there may be a staffing schedule, a schedule for workers who are on call that day, etc.
Definitely. We do have a multiple schedule tool, and this can be used for a variety of different reasons, including just splitting up your workforce into different types of schedules that you need covered. So where you find those schedules that you have created would be on this left-hand side here. You can pull down the menu of all the different schedules that you have created, and you can easily toggle between those schedules. Under your employee list, by hovering over the shopfront icon again and tagging your employees, this is where you can assign them to the schedules that they are able to be scheduled on. So right here, this is where the schedules live within your employee profiles. And right now, all my employees are tagged to all the schedules I have, but you're able to customize this under their assignment tab. This is where you can add or take away any schedules that they're available to be assigned to and to work at. Then you would be able to create any schedules under this shopfront icon again, and then into your schedule list. This is where you can add or delete any new schedules into your system. And you can add schedules that are maybe a different location, but it doesn't have to be a new location. If you just want to split up your workforce, maybe an on-call schedule or different departments, different qualifications, you can always split up your schedules by that too. It doesn't have to be a remote location or anything like that. You can use it for departments, teams, qualifications, things like that. Back in the scheduler, I'll just show you one more time how you can be toggling between any of those schedules within your account. You can just toggle back and forth between them. If you have an employee that is tagged or assigned to both schedules, you will be able to see any shifts that they have scheduled on their other location or other schedule. So that way you can make sure that you're not double booking anybody when you are using multiple schedules with the same set of employees or same employee on both. You can see here that Chandler is scheduled on the other schedule. And when you click into his cell to schedule him for a shift, any shifts that conflict with the other schedule will be grayed out, and any that don't will be highlighted so you are able to schedule for that day. So now you can see that we have two schedules with two different shifts for that one employee. So again, I would use schedules for literally anything that you need to split up your team by in the workplace. It's really up to you.
Awesome. Our next question is from Brad. Is when I work capable of scheduling 8-hour shifts? My department has a day shift, swing shift, and grave shift. I think this would be a great way to highlight shift templates and how if you have the same shift, you can schedule it over and over with that.
Definitely. Yeah, and short answer is yes, you can schedule 8-hour shifts in When I Work. And I can show you how you would do that from scratch and then how you would do that with our shift template tool. And then I'll show a couple of tricks to quickly schedule all of those shifts out if you need to copy them or schedule them in a new week. So just to schedule a shift from scratch right within your scheduler, you're just going to be clicking into the cell, whether it's a specific employee cell or an open shift cell. it will be the same. And then you can just choose custom shift. This is where you will add a time, so a start and stop time for your shift. You can do 8-hour shifts, 16-hour shifts, whatever works. And you will be adding a position, so the qualification or what your employee is working on during that shift. And then there's a ton of other information that you can add if you want to, including job sites, sub tags, task lists, things like that. Once you save the shift that you've created, it will show up in your schedule just like these little colored boxes, depending on what color you choose and what color you're viewing. If you want to save your shifts that you create for use at any other time, you can save them as a template when you make them. You can also create and save new schedule shift templates within this shopfront icon. This is like a very well-used icon, so remember this. And you'll click into your shift template list. This is where you can see any templates that you have created and saved, and this is where you can also add new templates. These, again, are just going to be shifts that you've created and saved and that you can load into any day, depending on your employees' positions and tags. So once you've created all of your shift templates, back in the scheduler, you can see when I click into the cell for the employee, any of their qualified shift templates that you've already created will pop up, so you can easily add those into the days that you need. Just like this. And when you have created your shifts in for those days, if you want to copy that shift, add it into all the other days of the week, or add it into a new employee, you can do that as well. You'll just hold down your command button, click onto the shift, drag it, and drop it. So it's really easy just to create a whole week of shifts if you know that you need those worked often. You can also copy it into another qualified employee. You'll get a thumbs up if your employee is qualified, and a thumbs down if your employee isn't qualified based on their position. If you want to also copy your schedule from one week to the next, you can using the wrench icon as well. So you can use that to copy the previous week into the week that you currently are in, if you just want to quickly copy that over. And you can do that based on individual employees as well.
Awesome. All right. Next, Shauna is asking, she wants to just start with scheduling, but eventually would want to add on the attendance options. Can we just have a little bit more info about attendance and how it works with scheduling?
Definitely. So just for those of you who don't know, at the core of When I Work, we have our scheduling tool. And this is what every account in When I Work will come with. So that is scheduling your employees for shifts. If you just want to start with the scheduler and then add on any tools afterwards, you definitely can do that. You're not locked into kind of what you've purchased or what subscription you've purchased. You can always add on users or add on products like the attendance tool as you go. But you would start out with the scheduler. If you want to track when your employees are actually working, you can do that as well by adding the attendance add-on. And this essentially is just having your employees clock in and clock out for the times that they're actually working. And this works really beautifully with our scheduler. So you'll be scheduling your employees when to work and then having your employees clock in for their actual time worked, all within your one When I Work account. It's really cool. So I'm just going to hover over the attendance tab here to click into my timesheets. This is your landing page for the When I Work attendance tool. And again, you can add this onto your account whenever you go. You don't have to start with this. If you want to use it a month after you've started with us, you definitely can. It doesn't matter. So again, this is the landing page for your attendance tool. This is where you can toggle to all of your different employees' timesheets. You can view all of their ins and out times and any details of the shifts that they're clocking in for. So this would include maybe a break if they clocked for a break, which schedule they're on, which position they're working for, maybe which job site or location they're at. And they can also even add a note if they need to let you know something upon clock in or clock out. Up here, this is where you can move between all of your different payroll periods, close out your payroll periods, and produce your payroll summary. Users can clock in and out 3 ways on When I Work. The first way would be logging into their account, just like I am right now on a computer, hovering over the attendance tab and just simply clicking clock in to clock in for their time, and they would do the same to clock out. If you want, you can also add a time clock terminal. So this would be locking a device like a computer, tablet, or smartphone at your work location, and it would be locked as a time clock. So your employees could come and arrive at the workplace, type in a code or their email, and that would clock them in when they're on site. You can lock a computer as a terminal just by logging in and clicking lock as terminal. And if you are on a tablet or smartphone, you would be downloading the When I Work terminal app from the Apple or Google Play Store. And then the third way to have employees clock in and clock out on When I Work, and I always kind of think and say this is the most popular way. Employees tend to really like it. It's our mobile clock-in tool. So when you turn this tool on, your employees would get a big green button on their When I Work app on their mobile phone, and they would just click that button on their mobile phone to clock in. I'm just going to hover over my gear icon and hop into my attendance settings to show more about this tool. So again, when you turn on the clock in with mobile app tool, this is when a big green button will appear on your employee's mobile app home screen, and they'll be able to touch that to clock in. And the question that always comes up when talking about mobile clock in is if your employees can clock in and out from wherever they want if they are using this tool. And the answer is yes, if you want them to. If you want your employees to be clocking in from wherever they are, that's fine. But you can always also turn on the geofence to restrict where your employees can clock in and or clock out. All you will do is just choose the distance from the scheduled location that your employees must be at to create that little fence. And then your employees won't be able to clock in until they are on their scheduled site. So that is their schedule address or their job site address attached to their scheduled shift. So this does give you another added layer of management from When I Work, and it'll make sure that your employees are clocking in from the right location at the right time.
Perfect. We have a question from Noelle. How difficult is it to set up and someone to manage who's not entirely tech savvy? How long does it take to set up? And I could speak to this for a minute. It really depends on the number of employees that you have, on how long it takes to get set up and what the different settings you'll be configuring. But I have seen people get started, set up within the same day. They're rolling with clocking in and clocking out and checking their schedules. So Marie is going to go over in the end how you can reach out to us over chat, and we'd be more than happy to walk you through any setup questions you have that are specific to your business. We're here to help. We want to make sure that you get rolling and start using When I Work as soon as possible.
Definitely. That's so true. I think When I Work, we're good at making it easy to get set up. We have a built-in onboarding structure. So when you hop into your account, it will walk you through the steps of getting your account set up. And like you said, Cara, it depends on how many employees you have, but getting your account set up is actually very easy and very fast. As you go through the onboarding, all that you have to do is configure your settings, add in your employees, and basically start scheduling your shifts. And depending on how many shifts you have and how many employees you have, this takes more or less time. But we have seen an onboarding go really fast in When I Work. And if you aren't tech savvy, that's okay. I actually wasn't either when I set up my When I Work account, and it's very fast and easy to get a feel of what this system entails and what you need to be successful. And we have a really awesome Need Help tab. This pops out the Help Center. If you have any questions as you go, you can type in a keyword or a question, and we have a ton of articles for you. And we also have a training center and kind of a get started packet, I always like to think of it as. So when you hop into your training center, you can watch videos and a full onboarding training video. It's like a video stream, and you can really use that to get started. If you are worried about how hard it will be for you to get started or for your employees, definitely take a look at the management training and the employee training. We have training for your employees too, and this will really help as you're getting started. And then, of course, you do have us live as you get started. You can chat with us using the green chat bubble. And if you get stuck anywhere or have any questions, you can always chat with us as you're actually getting your When I Work account started. So you do have support if you need it as you get started, but we are generally really quick and easy to start using and kind of start understanding our processes. So never fear, we are here to help.
Absolutely. All right. Looks like our last question here is about the plans that we offer.
Definitely. I actually can switch my screen over again. And I have a little bit of information built out so I can talk through the different plans that we have. And then we have more information and helpful resources at the end as well. So we have really condensed and made our plans very easy and simple. We have a small business scheduling plan for accounts that have under 100 users. This will include all of the information that I talked about scheduling and messaging wise. So this is going to include all of the scheduling, availability, communication, work chat, things like that, tasks, positions. And if you need any of the time clock tools, so time clock and attendance, you can add that on to your small business scheduling plan. This is going to include what we kind of talked about at the end. That's going to be the mobile clocking in on your computer, time tracking, timesheets, and payroll. And you can add this on to your scheduling plan when you upgrade or at any time during your subscription. So if you start with just the scheduling plan, you can add the attendance for like a prorated cost at any time during your billing cycle. If you just want to start out just scheduling and then eventually adding attendance, that's fine too, or you can just add it all right away. We're really flexible as far as that goes. And you can actually find all of this information directly from within your account. So when you do log in, you can click to account and billing, and then it will pop up your account and billing page where then you can choose upgrade my account and choose the tools that you need. And there's more information on what the features are within there as well if you want to refresh your memory on what each plan offers. And you can toggle on which tools you need and then choose your billing frequency monthly or annually. And then you will choose the amount of users you need in your system, and it will calculate what your price would be depending on all of that. So it's really easy to actually just get started from right within your account. But if you have any questions as you go, what's the right plan for me? Where should I get started? How do I get set up? Is When I Work even for me? We're here to help every step of the way, essentially. So you can reach us via the little chat icon from within your When I Work account on the bottom right-hand corner. You can use the Need Help tab to get some self-service resources. And if you don't have an account yet and you just want to chat with us, kind of get everything rolling, but you haven't started your account, you can reach us at gettingstarted@wheniwork.com, and we will shoot you an email back. And this is all pretty fast. We've got some great people on our team, and we're excited and ready to get you all started as fast as possible. So if you take a look at the chat tool that we were using at the very beginning, we have just sent out a little onboarding packet, I like to call it. It's just all of the most helpful resources that we've compiled for you all. And if you copy and paste this onto your computer, this will have all the links and all the resources that you need to be successful and get started. We've got the sign up link, so this will help you sign up for your account, for your trial. And then all of the resources like our demo video, help center, training center, all of those links are linked in there as well. So take a look at that, and this will help you out. And then again, if you have any questions as you go, you need help onboarding or just need some advice, definitely chat with us as you get started because we are here to help. So with that, thank you all for your questions. They were great questions, and thank you all for taking the time to chat with us and to join this webinar.
Thanks, everybody.